Hello everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. I am Malenga Sise of Urban Harvest Organic Farm. For all of you who have subscribed to my YouTube channel, I am so grateful. And for those who are still new, please consider subscribing to the YouTube channel. Click on the notification bell so that you never miss out any upload. Share this video, comment in the comment section down below, and I will be so grateful. Today, I'm so happy because I'm going to share with you something that I didn't expect one day I will share with you in this channel. But one of you requested me to make a video on it because I remember from the very first day when we started this channel, I call it our channel because it is not only me, it is all of us that has built this channel to reach where it is today. So when we started this channel, I remember telling you that I am now 5 years in this project, but throughout these 5 years, I've also gone through so many challenges that made me to lose over 20 million Ugandan shillings. And one of you sent me a message that, Sister, please kindly make us a video telling us how you lost the over 20 million Ugandan shillings in poultry farming. Well, I decided to make this video not to scare someone out there, but you know, sometimes I go by the demand, okay? Sometimes I will make a video depending on your request. So when I saw that message, I said, okay, probably let me not only be positive, let me also give the negative part of it. But this will be a lesson to most of you there. Please, it is not to scare you. I don't want to tell you that poultry farming is really very hard, that you should not join it or that you should quit it. But there are some things that you must do it right. There are some things you must do right for you to succeed. And you must know that in every project there are challenges, and everyone who has succeeded at least went through some failures somewhere. So it is just the same way that it is just the same thing that happened to me, and I want to share with you today. So please stay tuned till the end, okay? I'm sitting under my fennel tree. You know, in my home is covered with fruits. You know, I'm a farmer. I love having fruits around me. I love having vegetables. So I'm just sitting under this fennel tree. You can see I have really very nice fennel, okay? So back to our topic of today. When I started this project, I really didn't have any, guys, I didn't have any knowledge about poultry farming, especially this exotic breeds. So I started with the broilers, of which my first broilers, I brought 50 of them because I just wanted to try out. So when I brought these 50 birds, I remember feeding these birds basically on only pellets, and the birds came out very well. And I got this buyer that a friend connected me to him, and when I called him to buy the birds, the guy told me, Sise, you know, these birds are still very young, they are not yet up to the weight that I want. Feed them for more 2 days, then I'll come back and buy the chicken. You guys, I fed the birds for the next 2 days. I called him, he did not come. The next 2 days I called him, he did not come. You know, I was still new in the project. I didn't know which people can buy my broilers. So I ended up staying with these birds for more 1 week, and he finally came. And let me tell you, the price that he told me couldn't even match the amount of money that I have spent on the birds. But because I did not have an option, I decided to sell my broilers like that. So that was the first loss that I made. But I did not count that because I said, okay, business is business. You know, when you're still new, people will cheat you, people will turn you up and down, and but at the end you'll get what you want. So I brought again broilers the second time. I remember those were 200 broilers. When I brought these 200 broilers, I was already getting used to the system. I still opted to call this guy because some other people were telling me quite very low prices. So when I brought the 200 birds, you know, this guy could come at my home, cut the birds from my home. I have to provide him with firewood or charcoal. I have to provide him with water. I have to provide him with all the necessities that you need to slaughter that bird. But remember, after slaughtering the bird, he will not give you the feet, he will not give you the head, he will only leave you with the intestine for you to dump it, and the feathers. Okay, remember I also have dogs. If I want, I have to buy from him. And this is my birds. These are my birds that I'm the one who has sold to him, and I'm the one providing all these things. But still, he could go with all these things. And even the price that he used to buy my chicken at was really so low. So on the 200 birds, I ended up making very little profits. You guys, the profits were really very little. But still, I went ahead and brought 300 broilers. I think I had this capital which was busy scratching me. So I still went ahead and brought the 300 broilers. When I brought the 300 broilers, remember when I brought the 300 broilers, you know, I was already getting used to the system. I got some guys from Kalere Market. For Ugandans, you know Kalere Market. So these guys could come and buy my birds. And there I started making some profits. So after the 300 birds, I decided to get 400 layers. I decided to get 400 broilers. But during this time, I was not getting it from a company, but I was buying it from a friend. There was this group, I don't know whether it was a group or organization, giving women in all the barracks broiler chicken. So I have a friend who lives in a barracks and told me to say, you know what? When I say a barracks, I mean a place where either the police or the soldiers stay. Here in Uganda, we call it like that. So this friend of mine told me, Sisi, there are some women who are not willing to take care of these birds. Come and you just buy birds, chicken from them. So I went to buy the baby chicks. I remember we got the 400 baby chicks of broilers. We put it in the car, and the lady told me, Sisi, you know what? You also buy their feeds, because they give you the birds and the feeds at least for 2 weeks. Then you look for the money to buy for the next 2 weeks. So when I got these broilers, we decided to put inside the car. Madam, little did I know that these birds were going to get suffocated. Guys, the birds got suffocated. I went to wait for the feeds. By the time I came back, I lost like 250 chicks. So from that day, I said, you know what? Just leave this broiler thing and quit and go to layers. That is how I managed to raise this 150 that were left, but it did not even come out well, because from the very beginning, they had issues, because these were the ones that survived from the suffocation. I remember we brought them in the car and locked them there. And the ones that survived were only 150, and I lost 250 broiler chicks. So after these broilers, I decided that no, let me leave the broiler issue and shift to the layers that I want. So when I decided to do layers, I first brought 300 birds, of which I raised them very well. I was doing it by myself. I raised these birds very well, and they started laying eggs. When the birds started laying eggs and I started getting some profits, I decided to add more, but because I was seeing something good in these birds. So when I added more birds, I remember bringing 1,200 birds. So I also raised these birds very well and reached a point that I needed to bring a worker. But when these birds were now at the point of laying, I again ordered for more 1,000 birds. So the house that I was putting these other birds, I decided to partition the house. I decided to put the new baby chicks in another section, and these other ones which are already at the point of laying in another section. But remember, there was ones which are already laying in the first farm that I constructed, but it was a small house. So when these other ones which are already in the point of laying fell sick, it also affected these other baby chicks. And remember what brought me the sickness. First of all, that time I had the local breeds. I had the local chicken at home, and there was no biosecurity. Guys, I never practiced biosecurity at all. Even the worker that I brought could just come in the farm anytime he wants, anyhow. You know, with the same sandals he has been loitering outside, enters the farm. I got Newcastle. My birds were affected. Well, it so happened that I could go in the farm and I find one bird dying, one bird dead. I could enter the farm, I find another one dead. So I really didn't know it was a problem. But time came when birds could die like 20 in a day, 30 in a day, 40 in a day. You guys, I couldn't control it. Even the ones which were laying dropped in laying, the 300. Even the ones which are still young couldn't grow. The birds were all sick. I ended up losing 700 birds during that season from all these flocks. Remember, now I had 3 flocks. The first one, which was 300 laying, the second one, which was 1,200, then the third one, which was only 1,000. And the first 2 were from one company, but the last one was from also a different company. You guys, when you're starting this project, please don't rush. Start with few numbers and learn very well before you rush into adding more birds. I think I over rushed into adding the 1,200 and the 1,000 birds. So I ended up losing like 700 birds during that time. Even the ones which were laying couldn't lay well. The ones which were in the point of lay didn't start laying early. This one which was still young were also affected. So generally the whole thing was in a mess. You guys, I hated the project. I'm like, oh my God, what is this? So these ones continued laying, this one started laying, but trust me that the laying never went on well. That is why I tell you that please try to make sure that your birds don't fall sick by observing biosecurity, by vaccinating your birds, by giving them the right feeds, by giving them enough water, because when the birds fall sick before laying, those birds might not lay well. They might end up not performing to your expectation. You guys, I lost a lot of money. People who are doing this project, you know what it means when you raise 1,000 layers, 1,200 to the point of lay, and they get Newcastle disease and they cannot lay, and you lose like 700 of them. Even you know what it means by birds which are already laying and they can no longer lay. They can they lay eggs and eat it up because the eggshells are very, very soft. You know what it means. You guys who are doing this project, you know what I am talking about. So I just want to tell someone out there that this project is not a joke. When you decide to do it, please go there wholeheartedly and please try as much as possible to follow the right guidelines. And biosecurity is really very, very important, and vaccination is also very important. I don't want to tell you that since you're going to use herbal remedies, do not vaccinate your birds. Please try as much as possible to vaccinate your birds. So I also had stubborn dogs that they could sneak into the farms because the construction of these houses were not done well. That's why I tell you that please try to use skilled laborers for constructing of your chicken, for constructing for your chicken house, because if it is not well constructed, you will not benefit anything. First of all, the roof was not well made, and whenever it could rain, my farm could flood. You will find the farm flooding, all the chickens are wet, everything was in a total mess. And then it comes at night, my dogs could sneak into the farm. I remember there was one day the dogs sneaked into the farms. I had 2 by that time. They sneaked into the farm and I found over 35 chicken which were dead. I don't know how many were now eaten up by these dogs. I reached a point where I couldn't even count my birds, because I was just like, oh my God, this is serious. You enter a farm and you feel like you call other people to do what? To count for you your birds. And even before that Newcastle, I forgot to tell you that story. Before the Newcastle, I remember on a Boxing Day, I went into the farm and I found 151 chicken at the corner. All were dead. But that was as a result of a snake. Because when I tried to explain to some people, they told me, Sister, there must be a snake around. And guess what? There was a snake in the farm. I called some guys to hunt for the snake. Actually, this snake even that snake was going to kill one of my girls, because there was a day she was collecting eggs and she saw a very big snake. This snake was already there eating eggs, and sometimes I could find chicken dead. It was the one eating the chicken. So I called these guys. They looked for that snake and killed a very big snake. Honestly, I don't know where the snake had come from. I think it had come from the other side, because the other side of my wall fence was bushy. So I think the snake came from there. So guys, let us try as much as possible to be very, very, vigilant on construction of our chicken house and on these guidelines. Let us try to follow them. So after when the birds started laying, I remember by the time I was selling off these birds, you know, out of the 300 birds, I ended up selling only 179 birds. Out of 1,200 birds, I ended up selling 569 birds. Then out of 1,000 birds, I remember selling only around 600 birds. So you can imagine, you can do the calculation. Even the over 20 million that I talk about, I don't want to sit down and even sum up how much I lost, okay? So that is how I ended up losing over 20 million Ugandan shillings in this project. But all in all, I learned my lessons, and right now, you guys, right now, I'm very careful on whatever thing I do in my farm. I'm very, very careful. I'm very careful whoever I accept to enter the farm, very careful on biosecurity, very careful on vaccination. I'm really so strict, because I know how it can pinch you when I really know the pain of losing all those birds, of losing all that money. So that is how I ended up losing over 20 million Ugandan shillings in poultry farming. But this video is not to scare you. It is just to make you learn something, and I hope most of you have learned something. Please try as much as possible not to joke with this project when you start it. Try to be present in the farm. Try to put workers who really have the love of the birds, because I remember even the workers I kept on, because I kept on changing workers, by the way. Others could break the feet of the birds, others you find the bird is dead, and you know, it reached a point that they could bring a bird that, hey, this bird is dying, because they want you to slaughter the bird and they eat it, and I could just give them to eat the birds like that. So even when I'm away, I realized they used to steal that, but that's how I ended up selling very few birds the day I was laying them off. So for someone who has been in this project, you know how much I lost. I lost really a lot of money in this project before, and that is why today I'm really very, very strict, and I'm trying to let you know that as you join this project, please do not joke with it, because with these birds, something small can make them die. You know, for them, they don't even make any noise. Even if you step on them, they will just die instantly there without even making any noise. So someone who is not careful can end up killing so many of your birds. And you know, with these workers, they can kill your birds, and they even end up hiding it, and you, the owner of the farm, you may not know that your bird was killed. So please, let us try as much as possible to be so vigilant on this project if we start it, and try to follow some of these guidelines. Some, like those days when I was starting this project, there were not so many YouTube channels about teaching people about poultry farming. But at least today, there are so many YouTube channel people sharing their experiences on how their journey on this project is. So please, let us try as much as possible to follow some of these stories. So for today, that is all I had for you. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for always coming back and watching my videos. Thank you so much for loving me. And if you're still new, please consider subscribing to the YouTube channel. Click on the notification bell so that you never miss out any upload. Share this video, comment in the comment section down below, and I'll be so grateful. Don't forget to tell me which country you're watching me from, and I'll be smiling. See you next time. Love you all. Bye-bye.